Further, two women Navy officers began voyage around the world. So they will attempt to circumnavigate the globe on the 56-foot boat Tarini, covering 23,000 nautical miles over 8 months. So Navy Chief Admiral Dinesh Tripathi flags off the expedition from Goa. So covering 23,000 nautical miles. तो इसका क्या सिग्निफिकेंस हो सकता है? अगेन वी कैन टॉक अबाउट द वुमेन एम्पावरमेंट. फर्दर वी कैन टॉक अबाउट द actual challenges that they will face and more resilience that will be created towards such kind of projects, and also a capability showcase karna. These can be the areas that you can think of, and 240 days will be taken by them. So, second edition of the Navika Sagar Parikrama was flagged off from Ocean Sailing Node, INS Mandovi. The two women officers set sail on INSV Tarini. So, National Institute of Oceanography for Study on Marine Microplastics and ferrous content across the sea. And further other areas maybe we can see exploration on the large sea mammals. Sagar Defense for their drones. Defense Food Research Laboratory towards providing customized pre-cooked Indian meals. So this is all there. And they have been trained on ocean sailing aspects of seamanship, meteorology, navigation, survivor techniques, and Medicare at the sea. Further, government printed, then shared its report on elephants. Count fell by 20% in 5 years. So elephant numbers in India. So total we read that there are around 27,000 elephants in India as per 2017. So central and eastern में there have been major reduction, और western Ghats में भी there have been major reduction. For the शिवालिक और northeast में there have been very less of reduction. So elephant census is conducted every 5 years by the Wildlife Institute of India. This we can note. Wildlife Institute of India. तो डेटा क्या बताता है? अगेन सॉ बिगेस्ट लैंड एलिफेंट पॉपुलेशन सदर्न वेस्ट बंगाल झारखंड ओडिशा, दे सॉ मैक्सिमम लॉस ऑफ 84%. अब अगर रीजन की बात करते हैं तो क्या क्या रीजन जो है इसके? अगेन जो हैबिटेट फ्रैगमेंटेशन है, फर्दर जो कॉरिडोर्स हैं, स्पेसिफिक कॉरिडोर्स दे कैन बी बिल्ड फॉर द एलिफेंट कॉरिडोर एज यू मेंशन, एंड उनको प्रोटेक्ट करना, रिजर्व करना जस्ट फॉर द एलिफेंट्स एंड द अदर वाइल्ड लाइफ ऑब्वियसली. फर्दर जो ह्यूमन वाइल्ड लाइफ कॉन्फ्लिक्ट होता है, एनक्रोचमेंट होता है ऑफ द forest areas etc for the agriculture and cropping purposes, so that can all be avoided. So strengthening corridors and connectivity and restoring the habitat. Also, major cause of this wildlife extinction and the decrease in numbers is also the introduction of the invasive species. Monoculture, forest clearing, these are all the areas that can be prevented. Or tea plantation, mines, oil refineries, linear infrastructure. So it makes their movements and lives precarious.
So what measures have been taken by India so far in order to again preserve the numbers of elephants and ensure that it increases? So on similar lines, we had again Project Tiger, which we can say that it has been successful. So for Project Elephant, it was started in 1992, and its main focused area was to ensure long-term survival of elephants in their natural habitat. Second was anti-poaching efforts and protection against illegal wildlife trade. Then third was creating, maintaining elephant corridors to facilitate their safe movement. Fourth was rehabilitation of elephants in distress, especially the captive elephants. Then elephant reserves and corridors are being constructed. For example, there is the creation of Gaj Yatra campaign. It promotes protection of elephant corridors across India. So it encourages local communities to protect these crucial migratory routes, reducing the even human elephant conflicts. Then we have Wildlife Protection Act 1972. They are categorized and they're protected under Schedule 1 of this act. So the Schedule 1, it offers highest level of protection to the wildlife species, and under this law, poaching, capture and hunting of elephants is banned, and its violation results in again strict penalties. So three things: poaching, capturing and hunting. Then other anti-poaching measures that have been taken is again monitoring and patrolling. So in this case, we can say the usage of surveillance technology like drones are being used to monitor the movements of elephants, and also the role of forest rangers is important. So combating of the ivory trade, in this case, we see that uh, international collaboration and the CITES Convention is important. So it is Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora. And for this, again, for reducing the human elephant conflict, we are using early warning systems like SMS alerts, mobile apps, and loudspeakers are used to notify farmers and villagers. Second, we are also using electric fences and trenches. So they are acting as barriers and also reduces the crop damage. And third, we also have compensation programs being run to compensate the farmers and the local communities if there is again a crop damage. So GPS tracking and drone surveillance as far as technological usage is concerned, and captive elephant welfare. So there is a particular elephant task force which has been constituted by the government of India. So it is providing and it has issued guidelines for the care and management of the captive elephants. It includes their improved health care, better living conditions, and regulation of use of elephants in tourism, and particularly in South India, like elephants, they're important part of even the cultural celebrations, also the festivals. So there are different rescue centers, and again, as a part of when it comes to CSR activities, for example, recently in Jamnagar, we saw that again, Reliance Industries. So they have contributed particularly in rescue centers for elephants. So we need to promote more of ecotourism.
And apart from these, we also discussed regarding the setting up of cameras. कि कैसे वहाँ directly हम surveillance कर सकते हैं, तो वो important है. And apart from electric fencing, we can discuss about bio fencing. कि कैसे वो electrocution के process को avoid भी करेंगे. And fencing का जो main motive है, that can also be cleared. And all these points के अलावा, we have one more point, that is of radio collars. Although they are not that efficient and even cost intensive, but still they can also be used in some areas. Radio collar. Further, India's cyber physical hubs are ready for takeoff. So time for industry to step in. तो साइबर फिजिकल हब्स, जब हम बात करते हैं कि अभी जो स्प्लेंडर एट द रिट्रीट सेरेमनी एट राष्ट्रपति भवन, तो देयर वाज अ रिलीज ऑफ फर्स्ट इंडिया मेड कमर्शियल सिस्टम ऑन चिप for secure Internet of Things environment. So the world's first digital entomologist and the creation of first of its kind testbeds in India for autonomous navigation and security operations of the critical infrastructure. तो इसमें there is the use of this. तो नाम क्या है इस पूरे प्रोजेक्ट का? तो इट इज नेशनल मिशन on interdisciplinary cyber physical systems. So it was launched by the PM in December 2018. और ये aim करता है to establish India as a global leader in cyber physical systems. जैसे हम बात करते हैं AI, फिर machine learning, robotics, cyber security, autonomous navigation. Because again, technology is very important. कैसे हम इसमें innovation कर सकते हैं, and इसी में ही security, how it plays a major role in terms of the critical infrastructure and critical areas. For example, be it the security in terms of data management, या फिर even the defense sectors, जिसमें intrusion detection, malware analysis, and real-time risk assessment that can be done. फिर water treatment और implementation हो सकता है at the National Highway Authorities of India as well. जिससे कि ये 5 to 3 times more cost effective है than larger competitors. तो अगर एएस यहाँ पे एग्जाम्पल इज मेंशन अवध एट आईआईटी रोपर, तो ये भी एडवांस कर रहे हैं साइबर फिजिकल सिस्टम्स टू प्रमोट सस्टेनेबल एग्रीकल्चर एंड वाटर मैनेजमेंट. तो वी कैन रिमेम्बर हियर नेशनल मिशन ऑन interdisciplinary cyber physical systems, ICPS, और जनरेटिव एआई फॉर भारत. तो ये भी कोलैबोरेटिव एफर्ट है बिटवीन पब्लिक प्राइवेट एंड एकेडमिक सेक्टर्स to develop multilingual and multimodal foundational models. तो ये ओवरऑल क्यों हेल्प करेगा? It will play a pivotal role in positioning India as a global leader in CPS technologies, economic growth, self-reliance और societal well-being, all these key terms. तो इसलिए इम्पोर्टेंट है. तो ICPS interdisciplinary cyber physical systems. Further, Gandhi of our time. So, in a world ravaged by conflict, his emphasis on a conscientious politics of change that doesn't undermine social solidarity is deeply resonant. So, we just now discussed regarding the key features of Gandhiji's. क्या उनके ideas थे regarding non-violence? Majorly, फिर peaceful protest की हम बात कर सकते हैं. Then further regarding tolerance and how to bring about a change in the society. सत्याग्रह, द सर्च फॉर ट्रूथ, और ये इंपॉर्टेंट रोल प्ले कर सकते हैं इन द पाथ ऑफ पीस मेकिंग. और स्वराज और सेल्फ रूल की जो हम बात करते हैं, सेल्फ रियलाइजेशन. तो ही मेंशन द रियल स्वराज विल नॉट कम बाय एक्विजिशन ऑफ अथॉरिटी बाय अ फ्यू, लेकिन एक्विजिशन ऑफ कैपेसिटी बाय ऑल टू रेजिस्ट द अथॉरिटी व्हेन इट इज अब्यूज्ड. So educating the masses to a sense of their capacity to regulate and control the authority. ये important है. फिर नॉन वायलेंट प्लूरलिज्म, तो ये भी की टर्म हो सकती है, इज मोर देन जस्ट टॉलरेंट रिस्पेक्ट ऑफ द माइंड्स एंड लाइव्स ऑफ अदर्स. तो आइडिया ऑफ लिविंग टुगेदर, gap between the logic of we and they, common humanity. These are the key terms that we can look for here. Solidarity, friendship, sympathy, tolerance. So Gandhian philosophy of non-violence can help us change our social imagination of politics, which has continuously taken shape on the battleground of brute force. Further, new SEBI rules to curb future and options frenzy aim to protect small investors. So SEBI has released set of 6 measures जिससे कि वो strengthen कर सकता है the equity index derivatives, also known as equity futures and options framework. So Mansi, if you can in short explain कि futures and options क्या होते हैं and कैसे ये help करते हैं in economy or other ways.
So F&O, these are futures and options. These are a part of derivative market. So the term derivative means that the values of these futures and options, these are derived from the actual share price of different companies. So in this case, these are considered to be more riskier because they are more volatile, and at the same time the opportunity is that because high risk brings high profit, so that is why people, they have the natural tendency to go ahead and invest or either trade through the futures and options. And most of the time, as we have seen also recently, that 90% of the investors or the traders, participants, they have incurred losses. So in order to protect their interest, because of late, because of, we can say, more digitization and more awareness through social media also, or the social media influencers, after the COVID-19, we have seen huge and the, we can say, exponential growth of the investors in the capital market. So Because of that, given change scenario and increased participation, SEBI has released these new rules. So first is again contract size for the index derivatives have been recalibrated. So like it is stating index derivatives. So you can trade in different index also, like Bank Nifty is there, which is particularly tracking the price movement of the bank shares. So you can trade in that index directly. So here the minimum contract size at the time of its introduction, the market has been recalibrated to rupees 15 lakh from the existing stipulation rupees 5 to 10 lakh, so that less people, or we can say more aware people, can only invest, because rupees 15 lakh is the minimum threshold. It's a huge amount. So people will be thinking before investing such a huge amount. So this is one thing. Then a second change is the upfront collection of the options premium. So the premium would be again collected, we can say, in an upfront manner or directly. So to deny any undue intraday leverage, because if you go with the intraday trading, you get certain kind of leverage by the broker that you are using. So if, like, for example, if you are, this is just an example or hypothetical situation, if you have funds worth rupees 15,000, so you can use it up till 50,000 rupees. So that wouldn't be possible. So here it is mentioned that SEBI has mandated collection of options premium upfront from options buyers by the trading members or the clearing members which are there. Then third change is the rationalization of the weekly index derivatives products. So here, like for example, we have right now the short tenure option contracts on the indices which expire every day. Then their weekly expiration, like you a particular derivative which is again having different features. It will mention its time period, it will mention in short the symbol of the company of which you are using that derivative, and the value that you target. So these three things are mentioned, and along with this, whether it is CE or PE. So CE is, if you, that is call option, PE is put option. So call option is when you expect the share prices to increase, and put is when you expect the share prices to fall. So these 4 or 5 factors, these are mentioned in the title of a particular derivative in terms of futures and options. So here it is talking about the shorter tenure that would be there. So it is directed, SEBI is directed, each exchange may provide derivative contracts for only one of its benchmark index with weekly expiry only. So this would be effective from 20th of November. Then we can say that implications of this would be, will limit the avenues for again uncovered or naked option selling. So we are trying to reduce the risk factor in a way which can again impact the lesser participation. So fourth would be intraday monitoring of the position limits. This is again a little bit more technical aspect. So position limits is what position are you taking? You're taking again a long position, that is you are investing for a certain time period. So that is one of the options when it comes to weekly expiry, because you have 7 days to invest in a particular option. And then apart from this, it is like the position creation beyond permissible limits. Existing position limits for the equity index derivative shall be enforced, also monitored by the intraday or on intraday basis by the exchanges. So intraday is like, it is very, very risky, because you have to scare off your position on that particular same day. Fifth change is the removal of calendar spread treatment on expiry day. So volumes on expiry day, they massively increase because the premium value, it declines, because with time the premium keeps on depleting or depreciating. So because of this, the value declines so much is that in lesser amount of money you can buy huge quantities. So this is also kind of a trap where people end up making huge amount of losses. The sixth change is the increase in the tail risk coverage on day of expiry. So tail risk coverage increases, so you have, again, you are better hedged, we can say.
Thank you, Mansi. Further, we can discuss about the food safety laws in states. The UP government, it has issued directives requiring all eateries to display the names and addresses of their owners and employees. The Supreme Court states similar orders passed in Uttar Pradesh and Jharkhand, or Uttarakhand, sorry. What are the requirements for selling food in India, and what powers do states have to make laws in this regard? So, regarding the vendors itself. We had seen that recently FSSAI had also intervened in this regarding the safety of the street food that is being provided. So here, what are the regulations for selling food in India? So there should be either registered or licensed business from the FSSAI. तो ये body established है under the Food Safety and Security Act, जो monitor करती है और कि how the food is processed, distributed, sold and imported to ensure safe and wholesome food. तो FSS rules 2011, तो petty food manufacturers जैसे कि small scale food businesses, hawkers, vendors and stall holders, they are required to register with the FSSAI. So petty food manufacturers. And the license too must be displayed at a prominent place. But is it actually being done? कभी ये visible नहीं होता. And do states have the power to make rules under FSSAI? So subject to the powers of central government and the food authority to make rules and regulations. State government may, after previous publication and with the previous approval of food authority, make laws to carry out the function and duties. The state government को and state commissioner of food safety को allot करी गई under this act. तो यानी can but under the provision and with the approval of the food authority it can be done. And non violation के केस में हो सकता है notice will be provided and license suspension non in case of non compliance that can happen here.
So we can say that here, firstly, the conflict was regarding the jurisdiction. So directly that is with the Food Safety and Standards Authority of India. So police cannot make certain or these new changes which was seen in Uttar Pradesh regarding that you will have to display your name and your address. So one was this violation, and secondly, here we were seeing that during this Kavar Yatra, it was more oriented towards again targeting the minority community, which was the Muslim community. See, so it was intended towards that, and the sole intention regarding particularly the food safety should be the consumer interest. Why we are bringing again the discrimination on the basis of religion. So this is also a violation of their fundamental rights. For example, under Article 25 to 28 when it comes to right to freedom of religion. So it is being associated with the religion and the food. So we can say that purity aspect, that purity and pollution thing is being was brought into, so that is why it was also again negated by Supreme Court as well. So here we say that for example, this the recent order that was initiated was said that violates the right to practice any profession under Article 19 also. So profession regarding also Article 19 clause 1 subclause G was getting violated, and supports the practice of untouchability which is under Article 17. So this is the sole fundamental right which is absolute in nature. There are no reasonable restrictions as far as Article 17 is concerned. So it should be on the basis of the changes which are being introduced or which are being suggested. The sole intention behind them should be regarding the safety of food that is available, which is available for the public consumption, rather than bringing in religion and again targeting that aspect.
So while langurs are sometimes deployed to scare away racist monkeys. So last week, UP Cricket Association had langurs in the hope of warding off of food-grabbing monkeys at Kanpur's Green Park Stadium, where India were playing Bangladesh. So Indian grey langurs, they have been deployed to scare away racist monkeys, including the large troops that periodically terrorize officials and staff in Newton's Delhi. So they are known to attract amicably in nature. So rhesus monkeys to be more common than langurs in urban spaces, and इसलिए thus comes in greater conflict with humans. So langurs, they have been effective against rhesus monkeys, and not because of innate qualities in the latter species, जैसे कि larger size, etc. So training langurs to deal with monkeys involves cruelty. The animals are torn away from their habitat, caged, and tortured, according to the wildlife NGOs. The langurs are protected in the Wildlife Protection Act 1972, Prevention of Cruelty Towards Animals Act 1960. So दो important act आ गए, and Convention of International Trade in Endangered Species.
So this Wildlife Crime Control Bureau, this is a multidisciplinary body established by Government of India under the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change to combat organized wildlife crime in the country. So it has key role in preventing the illegal wildlife trade and enforcing the wildlife protection laws across India. So it was created in 2007 under the provisions of Wildlife Protection Act 1972. So hence it is statutory, and functions is firstly coordination amongst the different enforcement agencies like police, customs, directorate of revenue, intelligence, and the foreign law enforcement agencies. Second function is data collection. Third is capacity building regarding training and workshops for the law enforcement personnel. Fourth is assistance in prosecution. Fifth is the advisory role that it gives regarding again the protection of the wildlife species. So major areas of focus is online wildlife crime as well, poaching and illegal wildlife trade. So we are having their different successful operations conducted so far. For example, there was Operation Save Kurma. So this was in 2017, aimed at curbing the illegal trade of tortoise and freshwater turtles. Second was Operation Thunderstorm, which was regarding the it was overall targeting the wildlife trafficking. Third was it was again awarded by CITES. So this recognition, it received the Asia Environment Enforcement Award from CITES for its again successful work against wildlife crime prevention. So it is also collaborating with Interpol, CITES, and United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime.
So again, the damage causes mainly regarding जो damage crops को damage कर देते हैं, taking over urban spaces, attacking humans. और it is also mentioned कि monkey bites is the second most common animal bites in India. तो जो ये monkey menace है, इसके लिए mass translocation measures and curbs on feeding the animals, they can take place, so as to prevent such instances. This we have already taken.
Yeah, in this we can just have a look at these numbers that 11.3 million is the individual traders who have lost rupees 1.8 lakh crores in only futures and options during 2 financial years. So this is very huge amount. Then we can say that this was the savings which was again put into the capital of the stock market in order to make massive profits in a shorter time period. But again, this is not so easier as it appears to be, and we could have utilized that savings in other productive activities. However, again, now we cannot change things, or we cannot go back to status quo. Then more than 75% of the individuals in futures and options traders have reported annual income of less than rupees 5 lakh. More than 75% of the people are falling in this category. So you can imagine that they're again newly entrants, or the new market traders who have entered after 2020.
Mastering the art of getting things done, going by how he has made one of the toughest jobs in country look easy. तो former State Bank of India chairman was always a fan of the management stream.
So we are talking about again Dinesh Khara sir. So he attributes ki jo unki capabilities है when it comes to management also or multitasking in again a pressurized situation. So he says that all of these capabilities they are needed to run India's biggest bank again because he's associated with SBI. So he is giving the credit to in-house training or learning on the job. So that experience or that self-learning when you get into something is being the most important thing according to him. So his varied experiences across like countries, many branches, he believes it prepares one to deal with all kinds of situations. So that is again in the process that experience and your learnings makes you more capable and more better trained.
So made in India brand on world stage. So government has started drawing up details of a program to promote made in India, label as global brand. So strong brand identity for India as it exists for countries like Japan and Germany. So one of the proposals being discussed is setting up a dedicated national branding division to synergize the export strategy with national branding strategy. Just again,
So
there
we
will be an idea that will be created with regard to the brand. A quality associated हो जाएगी, better trade and exports. They will be able to take place. And thereby जो manufacturing hub है, उसका creation.
So simply it is stating that simple strategies can be followed here. For example, the large scale campaigns for the manufacturing where we can leverage the economies of scale with the greater participation of MSMEs. And again, few days back, we discussed this article that producing at the local level, but of international quality or international standard, as it was mentioned by our Prime Minister. So that is a simple strategy, but it requires again that synergy. It requires funding also. It requires again assessing the quality standards so that again we're not facing any tariff or non-tariff barriers when it comes to the exports.
So GAIL, India's first biogas plant, commissioned in Jharkhand. So they commissioned the first compressed biogas plant in Ranchi, Jharkhand. So it is designed to process 150 ton of municipal solid waste to produce bio-CNG. So again, a lesser contribution रहेगा to the greenhouse gases. Thereby
So
less.
biogas is a renewable source of energy. It is produced through anaerobic reaction, which is in absence of oxygen of the organic matter by the microorganisms. So it consists mainly of methane gas, which is produced as a byproduct, and carbon dioxide, with small amounts of other gases like hydrogen sulfide or moisture can be there. So it can be used as a fuel for cooking, for heating, for electricity generation, and as a transportation fuel in the form of compressed biogas, which is CBG.
Further, green energy share to hit 19% in financial year 2027. तो ऑलरेडी वी हैव डिस्कस कि कैसे जो इंडिया है रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी के प्रोडक्शन में इट इज द फोर्थ लीडिंग कंट्री आफ्टर कंट्रीज लाइक यूएस चाइना एंड ब्राजील तो
So
उनके
you
बाद
can see also the like for example the budget estimates or simply the estimates for the financial year 2027 stating that share of thermal energy will decline from 76 to 71%. For renewables it will increase from 13 to 19. Nuclear it will be around again 3 to 5%, and hydro would be 8 to it will decline from 8 to 7%. So it is majorly we can say renewables share that will see a major shift, and it is important also when it comes to again meeting our Panchamrit targets that were mentioned under COP26, which was happening in 2021. So the share is important when it comes to again the forecast that we are having, how it will be molded further.
So with a diverse commodity composition, CPI and WPI non-food inflation can't converge.
Because right now in CPI we are having again 40% weightages for the food grains, and also in WPI, like we're only including the commodities, there are no services which are included. But again, WPI it includes intermediate and the final product both, but CPI it includes only the final product. So that is the different methodologies, and we should remember that because certain statements can come in prelims examinations. So that is the difference, the methodological difference. That is why it is stating that these two numbers cannot converge even if we are calculating only for the non-food aspect. So this is a normal divergence, and again that is why we are also even talking about shifting to more precise index, such as the producer price index, which will be including both commodities and services. It would be better targeted and better precise, and hence efficient even in tracking the ground level changes which are happening, so that we can have the policies formulated on similar lines, which would be more appropriate, more targeted.
Hmm. So we have ended here. Thank you everyone for joining and hope this was a fruitful session. We will continue in the next session with the next set of important articles. Thank you.